With Blade Show West right around the corner, we thought it would be great to dedicate a Tutorial Tuesday to showing you how to make the most of any Blade Show trip. Let's jump right in. Blade Show is the world's largest knife show, and there are 3 of them nationwide every year. In February, there is Blade Show Texas. In June, there's Blade Show Atlanta, the big one. And our favorite, in October, is Blade Show West in Salt Lake City. All of these shows are owned by Blade Magazine, and they are not only a show where the community gathers, but also where knife makers from all over the world come to show off their wares and compete for awards. Blade Show is the crowning event of the entire knife community, and people from all over the world come and gather to share in the love of sharp and pointy. If you're into knives, I seriously recommend that at some point in your life, make a pilgrimage to a Blade Show, and you will find the largest gathering of like-minded people you will find anywhere in the world. While you can have a lot of fun by just showing up to Blade Show and seeing what there is to see, a little bit of preparation can go a long way in helping you make the most of it. Tickets to Blade Show can be purchased in advance or at the door, and there are a limited number of early bird tickets that allow you to get into the show just a little bit early, but they tend to go really, really fast. If you live close enough to the show that you can drive, it's probably best to stay at home, as hotels near the show site tend to fill up pretty quick. But if you're traveling, I would recommend making your accommodations as soon as you can in advance, and that way you're guaranteed to get a room nice and close. If you're flying, it's important to plan to check a bag at least on the way home, because it's not fun to roll the dice with UPS or even worse, the Postal Service to get your knife home. When it comes time to head out, it's wise to pack a bag specifically for Blade Show. Like this one. A bag that you can comfortably carry around all day. This could be a backpack or a shoulder bag like this one from Nutsack. But this should have a few important things in it. First of all, a water bottle. There is not a lot of water at the show, so if you bring your own, it's going to be a lot easier to stay hydrated, especially since you're going to be spending most of the day on your feet. Next, you should bring any knives that you plan to trade or sell. There are some booths that buy knives and others that trade, and there might be people in the halls that are looking to trade as well. Lastly, you want to make sure you bring some cash in addition to your cards, because some booths like cash, some like cards. Pro tip, if there's a booth that likes cash, there's a good chance they'll sell it to you without sales tax. Shh. And lastly, bring a pen. There's a lot of cool people at Blade Show, and you might want some of their autographs. And if you have a pen, they might not. And then make sure there's lots of extra room in your bag, because the booths are handing out stickers and patches. You can win knife giveaways, or you might pick up a few knives of your very own along the way. You're gonna want a way to carry them, or your pockets are gonna get real full real fast. When you get to the show, there's gonna be a big line to wait in. That line starts forming early. This last year at Blade Show East, the first person got in line at 2 a.m. on Monday for a show that started at 10 a.m. on Friday and camped out all week long. So there's a good chance that you will not be first in line. The people who go first in line are really dedicated to a single brand usually, and they are going to sprint at rope drop to that booth and get all the stuff they want. If you're just there to look around, or if you're going after something that has a lot more quantity there, then any place in line will get you there. Show up at 11 o'clock and don't wait in line at all if you prefer. Now you are in Blade Show, and there's a lot of cool things to see, and if you feel like it, just go explore. Go see what there is to see. There's a ton of companies, makers, people you've never heard of making some of the most incredible sharp things you'll ever see. Broadly speaking, there are 2 types of stations at the Blade Shows. There are the booths and the tables. Booths are for bigger companies. People like Benchmade and Spyderco will often have a booth. Blade HQ has a booth most of the time as well. There are some companies you might not have heard of because they're the people selling wholesale steel, grinders, heat treatment, etc. to all of the big manufacturers. The tables are more reserved for the smaller makers. People like making custom blacksmith swords in their basement, leather workers, small companies. There's a lot of fun things to be had at both, and I recommend you spend enough time to go and explore both tables and booths at length. But whether you're at a table or a booth, some basic Blade Show etiquette applies. Before you pick up any knife or anything you see, make sure to ask the people behind the booth. Sometimes they are multi-$1,000 customs that have very persnickety finishes, and even your fingerprints could ruin them. So make sure you have permission before you pick them up. But 9 times out of 10, the booth staff is more than happy for you to pick up and get to know all of the knives. After all, they brought them to show them to you. But in addition to what is for sale on the floor, there is a lot going on at the Blade Show. There's going to be celebrity meet and greets, classes on heat treatment, knife making, selling knives on the internet, etc. There's the Bally Comps, or the West Coast Flipping Championships, where you get to see the best butterfly knife flippers in the world show off their stuff. There's sometimes blade sports, where you'll see people chopping through crazy stuff and trying to get through courses in record time. There's a lot of cool things to see and do at every Blade Show. And once the show closes for the evening, the party has just begun. Every Blade show has a customary after party. At Blade Show East, it's in the iconic Pit, the bar in the hotel, and at Blade Show West, it's hosted by Black Rifle Coffee Company. Here you'll see the awards ceremony, you'll see a lot of people you know and love all getting drunk together, and everybody is just going to be celebrating the joy of knives. If you're working on planning your next Blade show, you can find all of the information on exhibitors and events at the Blade Show website. I'd also recommend you follow your favorite makers and brands on social media. They'll often have show specials or limited runs, and they might go pretty quick, and if you know that they are there, you'll know which booth to stop by first. But the most important thing that you can do at Blade Show West is come and find me and say hi, because I love meeting all my favorite knife people in the world. We'll see you there.